Chapter 1. It was the beginning of the New England season when the cornstalks ceased to whisper. The green had surrendered to brittle brown, and the fields no longer swayed but rattled, as if caught in the grips of some hidden tremor. To the left the stalks, to the right the woods hummed with low, pulsing energy of massive beehives, the insects busily preparing for the coming frost. Stella patted her pocket, feeling the familiar shape of the EpiPen, and just below it, the small canister of mace. 6 years on this trail and not a single sting, but she wasn't one to take chances. The mace was more of an afterthought, a habit she'd never quite shaken. As a tall former athlete, she liked to think she could outrun most of the people she might cross paths with. But as she edged towards 50, she was pretty sure nobody was too interested in kidnapping her. Honestly, since she'd let her curls go gray and her green eyes had developed crow's feet, most people barely noticed her at all. With a whistle, she called her old English sheepdog, Finnick, to her. Her earbuds sat firmly in place, and she dialed into the meeting, barely registering the monotonous drone of her coworkers on yet another conference call. She often wondered what would happen if she began each call with the truth. "We're all going to be laid off or dead soon. Is what you're about to say worth it?" She smirked at the thought. She doubted it would go over well with her boss, and she liked this job, so today she remained quiet. Finnick pulled at the leash, his long, gray, shaggy body rushing forward on his usual mission to nowhere in particular. Finnick stopped tugging, and Stella knew that meant someone was up ahead. She was used to sharing the path with Alice, her neighbor who owned the farm. Sometimes she ran into bird watchers, aiming their binoculars into the woods in search of the elusive Connecticut warbler. When the small, yellow-bellied bird crossed their sights, it often elicited a few reverent gasps. She urged Finnick forward. Just around the bend, a couple in their late 60s were dressed as if emerging from the outback. A man and a woman in head-to-toe Patagonia khaki, complete with head nets. "Nice day for bird watching," Stella said as she passed by. "Have you seen the warbler?" "No birds with the gist of warblers." The woman had the shaky voice of unused vocal cords. "All sightings have been of LBBs consistent with the general appearance of crows." Stella smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. She used to think that only the technology industry insisted on the acronyms that made the world feel like outsiders. Only when she began her daily field walks in 2020 and ran into the bird watchers did she find a group even more insistent on shortening even the most basic of phrases. Imagine her embarrassment when she looked up what birdwatchers meant when they said the acronym GISS, which is phonetically said with a soft G sound, like in the word giant. After a few false starts, she was able to determine that it meant general impression of size and shape. In the case of the Connecticut warbler, they were looking for small, compact bodies, slender builds, and active, flitting movements. LBBs had been easier to figure out from context. Large, black birds. Acronyms. There was something about them that always set her teeth on edge. They were like these little secret handshakes that people threw around in meetings, trying to prove how much more they knew than everybody else. "We need to integrate the ML model with the API, and don't forget the ROI on the AI stack," they'd say, as if everyone around them was automatically in on the meanings. But it wasn't useful or smart. It was just exclusionary. She knew why people did it. Acronyms made things feel official, wrapped up in neat little packages like you were part of some insider club. It gave them a sense of authority, like they could toss out a quick LLM or GPT, and suddenly the room would take them more seriously. But in doing that, they shut out anyone who wasn't fluent in their special language. It was as if they were drawing an invisible line between the ones who get it and the ones who don't. Stella hated that. She hated how it made smart people feel small and how it stopped good conversations before they could even begin. It kept people out when the whole point of science, of technology, was to invite people in, to make the complex simple enough for everyone to understand. So whenever she heard yet another acronym being casually tossed around, she fought the urge to roll her eyes and made a mental note to spell things out herself. At least then, she thought, we might have a conversation that included everyone. Come on, Finnick. Stella was eager to get back to her project.